Good morning, my friend. Let me ask you something simple, but deeply important. When was the last time you stood up without holding on to something? You see, aging doesn't take your freedom all at once. It starts quietly, not with your eyes, not with your memory, but with your legs. One day you're climbing stairs, the next you're gripping the rail. You tell yourself it's nothing, but deep down you feel it. Your strength is slipping. And here's the hard truth. When your legs weaken, you don't just move slower. You lose your independence, the ability to walk, to carry groceries, to chase after your grandchild without fear. According to the CDC, 1 in 3 adults over 65 falls each year, often because their legs couldn't keep up. But here's the good news. You can rebuild them. With the right food, simple habits, and a bit of consistency, your legs can carry you confidently again. In this video, I'll show you 5 powerful foods, backed by science, trusted by doctors, that can help you restore your strength, your balance, and your freedom. You may be wondering, why the legs? Why not the hands, or the back, or even the heart? Here's the truth, backed by science. As we age, our bodies go through a natural process called sarcopenia, the gradual loss of muscle mass and strength. It begins quietly, usually after the age of 40. But by the time we reach our 60s and beyond, it accelerates, causing us to lose up to 5% of muscle every decade. And where does this silent shrinking show up first? In our legs. Why? Because our legs hold the largest muscle groups in the body. They're also the most active, carrying our weight, keeping us stable, lifting us from chairs, helping us walk, stand, and live. Think of it like this. If your muscles were a battery, your legs are the appliance that uses the most energy. They're always on. And when your body starts cutting back, it starts there first. Dr. Karen Mitchell, a geriatric specialist at the Mayo Clinic, puts it this way. The legs are often the canary in the coal mine. When leg strength fades, it's often the earliest and loudest warning that the body is entering a vulnerable stage. But here's something else you should know. It's not just about growing older. It's about how our muscles respond to how we live. If we move less, eat poorly, or avoid certain nutrients, we're not just aging, we're accelerating decline. Let me share with you a story, one that might sound familiar. The story of Mrs. Evelyn, age 68. Evelyn used to be fiercely independent. She volunteered at her local library, loved walking her golden retriever Sam every evening, and never missed her Tuesday dance class. But one day, she noticed something strange. Her knees trembled halfway up the porch stairs. She had to hold on to the railing, something she'd never done before. She laughed it off at first. It's just a bad day, she told her daughter. But weeks passed, and things got harder. Sitting down took more effort. Getting up? Even more. Eventually, she stopped walking Sam, stopped dancing, stopped going to the library, and slowly, the world that once felt big began to shrink. When Evelyn finally saw her doctor, the diagnosis was clear: sarcopenia. But here's the beautiful part. That wasn't the end of her story. With small changes, the right foods, gentle strength building, and a daily walk around her garden, Evelyn not only got stronger, she returned to dancing. And now, every Tuesday, she leads the warm-up at her community center's Zumba class. So yes, my friend, it's not just age, it's biology, but biology can be rewritten. And the good news is, you don't need pills or fancy equipment. The first step starts right in your kitchen, because there are foods, real everyday foods that can fuel your muscles, protect your legs, and reverse the clock on weakness. And in the next section, I'll walk you through each one of them. We'll start with a humble hero that's been in your pantry all along and might just become your strongest ally. Are you ready? Let's begin with the first food that quietly rebuilds your strength from the inside out. Not a superfood from some far-off place, not a supplement from a bottle, but something you've likely passed by 100 times in your own pantry. Beans, lentils, chickpeas, soybeans. These humble foods, tucked away in cans or bags, carry within them a kind of strength that often goes unnoticed. But to your body, especially your aging muscles, they are nothing short of essential. Inside each little bean is a treasure trove of nourishment: plant-based protein to help you rebuild muscle, magnesium to support muscle function and prevent cramps, iron to carry oxygen to your tissues, and fiber to keep your digestion and blood sugar steady, which is especially helpful if you're managing diabetes or trying to keep your energy up throughout the day. According to researchers at Tufts University, Older adults who include legumes in their diet 3 to 4 times per week retain up to 20% more muscle mass than those who don't. That's not just a number. That's the difference between rising from a chair without assistance and needing a helping hand, between walking steadily to your mailbox or pausing halfway to catch your breath. What makes beans even more remarkable is how kind they are to the rest of your body. Unlike red meats, which can place stress on the kidneys and contribute to inflammation, beans provide what doctors at Harvard call a clean fuel, nourishing your muscles without the hidden cost. They're especially helpful for those who find heavy meats hard to digest or are looking for a more heart-friendly path to strength. Now, I want to introduce you to someone whose story might sound familiar. Ruth is 69 years old and lives in a small town in Oregon. She used to call herself, with a wink, the matriarch of motion. She'd host Sunday dinners, plant tomatoes in her backyard, and take her golden retriever Max on long afternoon walks by the river. But over the past year, she noticed a change. Her legs began to hesitate. The stairs she once climbed 2 at a time now required both hands and a slow count. Even walking Max became more of a chore than a joy. She brushed it off at first. It's just getting older, she told herself. But one afternoon, as she sat on the porch and watched her granddaughter run through the yard, she heard the words that cut straight through her denial. "Grandma," the little one asked, "how come you don't chase me anymore?" That night, Ruth sat quietly with a cup of tea in her thoughts. And in that stillness, she made a promise. To herself and to her legs, she would fight back. Not with pills or perfect plans, but with food, movement, and a little daily grace. The next morning, she swapped out her usual beef chili for a warm cumin-spiced lentil stew. She added a spoonful of chickpeas to her lunchtime salad and made a batch of 3-bean soup to share with her neighbors. She called it her strength soup, and while it simmered, she started her own little exercise routine. 10 seated leg lifts while the kettle boiled, wall push-ups before breakfast, and 5 shallow squats while stirring her pot. At first, it felt silly, but within weeks, Ruth began to feel something shift. Her legs steadied, her breath returned. By spring, not only was she walking Max again, she was leading a small walking group of friends in her neighborhood. And one sunny morning, when her granddaughter called, "Grandma, race me to the fence," Ruth didn't pause. She smiled and ran. You might be wondering how to start. The good news is you don't need to soak beans overnight or prepare fancy recipes. Start with canned beans, just rinse them well. Half a cup per serving is enough. That could be a ladle in your soup, a scoop in your salad, or a warm bowl for dinner. Add lentils to your stew, black beans to your tacos, chickpeas to your wraps. If you enjoy snacking, try roasted edamame. Warm, lightly salted, and deeply satisfying. Aim for 3 to 4 servings per week. Even 1 serving today is better than none yesterday. And if you want to turn that nutrition into strength, combine it with gentle, consistent movement. While seated, try lifting 1 leg at a time and holding it for 5 seconds. Do 10 reps per leg. Or hold onto the kitchen counter and slowly bend your knees, lowering yourself just a few inches and coming back up. And here's my favorite. Turn on your favorite song. Walk during the first verse and sway or stretch during the second. Movement doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be yours. Muscles, like memories, respond best to love and attention. Feed them well. Move them gently. Speak to them kindly. And you might be surprised by what they give you in return. Now that you've been introduced to the quiet power of beans, it's time to meet their partner. A food rich in healing fats and powerful proteins, drawn not from the soil but from the sea. Up next, the food that calms inflammation, speeds recovery, and protects not only your legs, but your heart and brain as well. Now that we've met the quiet, grounding strength of beans, it's time to introduce their more vibrant companion. The food that soothes, protects, and heals from deep within. This one doesn't grow from the soil, but swims through the cold, clean waters of the sea. I'm talking about fatty fish, salmon, sardines, mackerel. These aren't just delicious. They're among the most powerful allies you can invite to your table, especially as you grow older. What makes them so remarkable is what lives inside their rich pink flesh. Omega-3 fatty acids, nature's answer to chronic inflammation, stiff joints, and sore muscles. According to researchers at Harvard Medical School, older adults who eat fatty fish at least twice a week experience up to 20% less muscle loss over time. That's not just a statistic. That's being able to walk farther without pain, to bend without bracing, to get up from bed in the morning without that slow, aching hesitation. But omega-3s don't work alone. These fish are also packed with vitamin D, essential for bone strength and balance, and high-quality protein that helps rebuild the very fibers that keep your legs stable. It's like a three-part symphony. The omega-3s reduce inflammation, the vitamin D supports your bones, and the protein repairs and protects your muscles. Now I want you to meet John. He's 74, a retired firefighter from Maine. Years of service had left his knees worn down, his hips stiff, and his mornings slow. His doctor recommended surgery. John hesitated. He didn't like the idea of metal in his body or months of recovery. "I just want to walk my dog and rake my yard," he said. That's when his son, a physical therapist, gently challenged him to change two things before considering surgery. 1. Add movement, even light movement, every day. 2. Swap red meat dinners for omega-3 rich fish, 3 to 4 times a week. John started small. A salmon sandwich on whole wheat bread for lunch, sardines on toast with a little lemon juice for an afternoon snack, grilled mackerel with steamed broccoli for dinner once a week. He also began walking 10 minutes a day, just down the block and back. At first it felt like nothing, but by the end of the 3rd week, he noticed something he hadn't felt in a long time. He was waking up without knee pain. By the end of 2 months, he no longer needed to lean on the handrail when going down the stairs. His yard work returned. So did his energy. And when his doctor asked about surgery at the next checkup, John smiled and said, "Let's give the fish a little more time." Now, you might be wondering, how do I add fish to my meals if I'm not used to it? You don't need to become a gourmet chef. Start simple. A can of salmon mixed with a little yogurt and herbs makes a delicious spread for sandwiches or crackers. Sardines on toast with a splash of lemon or hot sauce are quick, flavorful, and satisfying. Grilled or baked salmon, lightly seasoned, with a squeeze of fresh lemon and a side of greens, can be your Sunday supper. Even canned mackerel, tossed with olive oil and pasta, can turn into a warm, comforting dish. If fresh fish feels too expensive or hard to find, don't worry. Canned options, just as nutritious, are affordable, convenient, and easy to store. Choose wild caught if possible, and look for fish packed in water or olive oil rather than heavy sauces. And if you truly can't stomach fish, speak to your doctor about high-quality fish oil supplements as an alternative. The key isn't perfection, it's consistency. Try adding 2 servings per week and pair them with vegetables or whole grains to boost absorption and support overall wellness. And don't forget, your legs won't just feel better. Your heart, your brain, even your mood will thank you. Because omega-3s don't just reduce joint pain, they also support memory, lower risk of heart disease, and help regulate mood. All things that become even more valuable with every birthday. So now we've got the builders, the beans, and we've got the healers, the fish. Coming up next is a food that does something magical. It doesn't just support your muscles and bones. It helps your body hold on to the nutrients you've worked so hard to give it. It's green, vibrant, and full of life, just like the person you're becoming. Let's talk about leafy greens and why they might just be the most underrated leg savers of them all. Now that we've fed the body with builders and healers, let's turn to something just as vital, a protector. Because once you've started moving again, once your muscles begin to rebuild and your legs carry you a little farther each day, there's something you don't want to face at night, the sting of a muscle cramp that wakes you from sleep like a lightning bolt. If you've ever been jolted awake by that deep twisting pull in your calf, the kind that leaves you breathless reaching for the bed sheet, you're not alone. These nighttime cramps are common, especially as we age, but thankfully, help might be just a few feet away, sitting right on your kitchen counter. I'm talking about bananas. This bright yellow fruit is more than just a quick snack. Bananas are packed with potassium, magnesium, and vitamin B6, a trio of nutrients that support proper muscle function, regulate nerve signals, and prevent spasms. They help your muscles contract and relax smoothly without misfiring in the middle of the night. Dr. Lisa Raymond, a nutrition expert at the Cleveland Clinic, puts it simply, a banana a day keeps the nighttime cramps away. And it's not just cramps. Potassium plays a major role in keeping your muscles hydrated and responsive, which becomes even more important if you're walking more, exercising gently, or taking medications like diuretics that can deplete your mineral levels. Let me tell you about Walter. He's 77, a retired teacher from Michigan who had a peculiar problem. Every night, like clockwork around 2 a.m., his right calf would seize up. He'd shoot out of bed, stumble to the wall, try to stretch it out, and then spend the next hour trying to fall asleep again. He tried drinking more water. He bought compression socks. Nothing worked. One morning at a health seminar at his church, a guest speaker, a geriatric dietitian, suggested something simple. Eat a banana an hour before bed and stretch for 5 minutes before turning out the lights. Walter chuckled. A banana? That's it? But that night he peeled one, paired it with a bit of peanut butter, and did some light calf stretches against the wall. And to his surprise, no cramp. The next night, same routine. No pain. Within a week, Walter was sleeping through the night. No jolts, no limping, just rest. Now he swears by his banana bedtime ritual and even keeps a small bowl of them in the guest room for his grandchildren. So how can you start? Easy. Eat 1 medium banana per day. If you're active during the day, it makes a great mid-morning or afternoon snack. If you struggle with nighttime cramps or poor sleep, have one about an hour before bed, on its own, or paired with a small spoon of almond butter for added magnesium and healthy fats. You can also slice it into your oatmeal, blend it into a smoothie, or even freeze chunks for a cool post-walk treat. Just be mindful if you have kidney issues. While bananas are a great source of potassium, those with advanced kidney disease may need to monitor their intake and should check with the doctor first. The beauty of bananas is not just what they contain, it's how easy they are to eat. No prep, no mess, just peel, enjoy, and let your muscles thank you later. So now, you've learned how to build muscle with beans, how to reduce inflammation and heal with fish, and how to prevent painful cramps with something as simple as a banana. If you found this tip helpful, don't keep it to yourself. Share this video with someone who's been woken up by pain instead of peace. And if you haven't already, subscribe, because we're just getting started. Now that your muscles are calm and cramp-free, let's turn to the structure that holds it all together, your bones. They carry you, they catch you, and they deserve just as much care. Coming up next, the everyday foods that don't just build bone strength. They protect you from the kind of fall that could change everything. Let's talk about dairy. Now that your muscles are fueled and your cramps are under control, let's talk about what holds everything together, your bones. Because no matter how strong your muscles are, if the bones beneath them are weak, your foundation is at risk. This next group of foods doesn't just help you move. It helps you stand tall, steady, and safe. I'm talking about dairy. Milk, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, and mild cheeses like mozzarella or Swiss. These are not just tasty treats. They are rich sources of calcium and protein, two nutrients that become increasingly important as we age. Calcium helps maintain bone density, while protein supports both muscle repair and bone strength. Together, they're a powerhouse team that keeps your body upright and moving. And here's something sobering to keep in mind. According to the National Osteoporosis Foundation, 1 in 2 women and 1 in 4 men over 50 will break a bone due to osteoporosis. One of the most dangerous breaks? The hip fracture, especially from a fall. It's not just painful, it's often life-altering. But here's the hopeful part. Most fractures are preventable, and consistent dairy intake is one of the simplest ways to protect your bones. Let me tell you about Darlene. She's 71, lives in North Carolina, and she's always been the hostess of the holidays. Thanksgiving at her house, Christmas morning pancakes, 4th of July cookouts in the backyard. But one year she slipped on a wet kitchen floor while preparing a pie and fractured her hip. Recovery was long. She needed help getting in and out of bed, missed her grandson's birthday. For the first time, she felt fragile, like her body had turned against her. Her doctor gently explained that her bone density had declined steadily, likely due to years of not getting enough calcium and protein. But Darlene wasn't the type to give up. She made a change, one small step at a time. She started with a glass of milk every morning with her oatmeal. She added Greek yogurt with berries and flaxseed for her afternoon snack. Instead of butter on her toast, she began to enjoy a slice of cheese paired with apple slices. And before bed, she sipped on a warm cup of lactose-free milk with cinnamon. And it didn't stop at food. She began doing simple balance exercises with her granddaughter, like standing on one foot while brushing her teeth, or stepping side to side during TV commercials. At her 1-year checkup, her bone scan had improved. But more importantly, she felt strong again. Strong enough to host Thanksgiving once more. And this time, she made sure someone else cleaned the floor. If you're looking to strengthen your bones, start with 1 to 2 servings of dairy each day. A single cup of milk contains about 300 milligrams of calcium. roughly 1/3 of your daily need. Greek yogurt packs nearly 20 grams of protein per serving, and cheeses like cheddar or Swiss offer a double boost of both calcium and flavor. If you're sensitive to lactose, don't worry. You have options. Choose lactose-free milk or try fortified plant-based alternatives like almond, soy, or oat milk. But be sure to read the label. You want versions that are fortified with calcium and vitamin D, since not all are created equal. Pair them with calcium-rich foods like broccoli, kale, or fortified cereals to round out your intake. And here's a simple daily habit that can make a big difference. Drink a glass of milk or eat yogurt right after a walk or gentle workout. Your bones are most ready to absorb calcium when they've been activated by movement. It's like watering the roots after a good stretch of sunshine. So now you've learned how to build muscles, soothe cramps, and strengthen your foundation. But there's still one more food group we haven't talked about, and in many ways it brings everything together. Because even with strong muscles and steady bones, your body still needs balance. It needs minerals to support nerve function, vitamins to improve circulation, and a whole spectrum of nutrients that keep your legs energized, your brain sharp, and your heart steady. Coming up next, the vibrant greens that do it all. The leg savers, the brain boosters, the unsung heroes that belong on every plate. Let's talk about leafy greens and how they might be the most powerful food in your fridge. You've now built muscle, healed inflammation, silenced the cramps, and fortified your bones. But there's one more ally. One that often goes unnoticed, yet works quietly behind the scenes to stabilize everything. It doesn't come in a pill. It grows in your garden or maybe right on your grocery store shelf. Crisp, vibrant, full of life. I'm talking about leafy greens, spinach, kale, collard greens, arugula. These aren't just salad fillers. They're mobility multivitamins in their natural form. Each bite is packed with vitamin K, magnesium, and potassium. A trio of nutrients essential for strong legs and a steady stride. Vitamin K helps your bones lock in calcium, which means all that dairy you've been adding to your routine. These greens help your body actually use it. Magnesium keeps your muscles relaxed and responsive, reducing those nighttime cramps and early morning stiffness. And potassium, our old friend from bananas, keeps your muscle contractions smooth, your blood pressure stable, and your heart strong. Dr. Elise Warren, a functional medicine practitioner, says, leafy greens act like an internal stabilizer. They protect your bones, nourish your muscles, and enhance balance. A simple handful a day can create a lifelong difference. Let me tell you about Linda. She's 71, lives in Minnesota, and used to rely on the stair railing just to get up to her bedroom at night. She was healthy in many ways, walked daily, ate reasonably well, but still felt wobbly on her feet. Her physical therapist asked about her diet and noticed one thing missing: greens. Not just here and there, but every day. So Linda made a change. She started blending spinach into her morning smoothies, sautéing kale with garlic for dinner, and trying collard wraps instead of bread a few times a week. The shift wasn't dramatic at first, but by week 3, she noticed something. She was halfway up the stairs before realizing she hadn't touched the railing. Now she jokes, "These greens are my power cords." Her balance improved, her energy lifted, and her digestion got better too. If you want to add greens to your life, start simple. A handful of spinach in your omelet, a side of kale with your grilled chicken, collard leaves used as soft taco shells, arugula tossed into soups or pasta. You don't need a perfect salad every day. You just need a little green with every meal. If raw greens are hard to digest, lightly sauté or steam them. This softens the fiber while preserving the nutrients. And if smoothies are more your style, try blending a cup of spinach with banana, almond milk, and a few frozen berries. It's sweet, creamy, and you barely taste the greens. But your legs sure will. Aim for at least 1 to 2 servings per day and rotate your greens to get a variety of nutrients. Pair them with healthy fats like olive oil, avocado, or nuts to boost absorption of fat-soluble vitamins like K and A. And here's the secret magic of greens. They don't just feed your body. They refresh your entire system. They support circulation, nerve function, and even cognitive clarity. That's why leafy greens have been linked to slower age-related memory decline in studies from Rush University and others. So yes, these aren't just vegetables. They're protectors, grounders, revivers. Now step back for a moment. Look at the plate we've built together. Beans to build, fish to heal, bananas to protect, dairy to strengthen, greens to stabilize and energize. Each one playing a role, each one simple, affordable, and ready to meet you exactly where you are. Not to change who you are, but to support the vibrant, independent version of you that still exists, maybe just waiting for a little fuel. And when you combine these 5 foods with gentle movement, hydration, and rest, something powerful begins to happen. Your legs, the same ones that may have trembled, hesitated, or slowed, begin to rise with new strength, step by step, bite by bite. And in just a moment, I'll share with you the daily habits that will take these foods from theory to transformation. Because it's not just about what's on your plate, it's about how you live with it, how you move, rest, and build a rhythm that supports your freedom every single day. So let's take a quiet moment together. Close your eyes if you like, and just imagine this. It's early morning. The sun is gentle. You open your front door and feel the breeze on your face. No aching knees, no heavy legs, just light steps, steady and sure. You walk to the cafe on the corner. You smile and wave to your neighbor across the street. You sit down by the window, sip your coffee, and think this is what freedom feels like. Not because age didn't come, but because you met it with action. Not someday, but today. With a plate of healing foods, with a short walk, a glass of water, a good night's sleep. With care, with love, with intention. Let's quickly remember what you've learned today. Beans, to gently build your muscles. Fatty fish, to soothe your joints and fuel recovery. Bananas, to shield your legs from painful cramps. Dairy, to strengthen your bones and steady your steps. Leafy greens, to bring it all together, nourishing your whole body. None of these foods are fancy. They're not out of reach, and you don't need to do them all at once. Just start. Start with one bite, one habit, one gentle promise to yourself. So now, let me ask you something, my friend. What's the first thing you'll add to your plate this week? Will it be a handful of spinach, a spoonful of Greek yogurt, a banana before bed? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one, and your story might just inspire someone else. And if this video lit a little spark in you, a reminder that you're still in control of your health, your steps, your freedom, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone you love, a spouse, a neighbor, a dear friend who might be feeling a little slower these days. Let's help each other move forward, one strong step at a time. And if you'd like more guidance like this, more stories, more science, more soul, click that like button, subscribe Golden Wise Elders, and turn on the bell so you never miss a message made just for you. Because this isn't just a video, it's a journey, and I'm honored to walk it with you. Until next time, stay strong, stay curious, and keep moving forward. You've got this, and I'm right here, cheering you on.